Yo, 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 what is good, everybody? Yo, with this episode of Overlord coming and going, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that no one is safe when you're around Isengone unless you are on this man's team and helping his cause. Because if you're not, as you can see, even the soldiers that were on his side of the map or on his side of the war were completely terrified and honestly probably didn't know what the heck to do. Even if Isengone wasn't just going all out, they still really didn't have a chance if they ever went against his orders or if they even wanted to help him. They would have definitely 110% gotten the way. So we literally just get to see Isengone going in. I'm not sure if the series is 13 episodes. I think we're getting 13 episodes. Just by the way this one ended, it did feel like the end of the season. Like it could be the end of the season, but a lot of these episodes have ended this same exact way for a while now for some reason. With it going from uh, towards the end credits coming up and we start hearing the song, but all we see is still the anime going on, which sometimes is an indication of like a special occasion, but I think this has happened throughout the last like 3 episodes. So clearly this might just be another one of those, or it could be literally the end of the season and we have to wait. But as I can tell, and with what we get to see at the end, I'm really hoping it's not, and I hope that there's a little bit more to come. Because as of right now, there's people in very interesting positions. In fact, that they're in such positions that they might even be able to. They could have been able to turn the tide of the war and maybe even end the battle uh, right then and there for, however long that lasted. And what we get to see is that is not going to be the case pretty much. Isengone is not about that life. And he kind of has an image to keep up now that he's already attacked and, wiped out over 70,000 people with an instant kill spell. So there's always that now at this point. He's gone pretty deep over the end, and to think that he would want someone to abandon every single thing and, join him was like, like that was like his offer to, Standoff, who's one of my favorite human in the show. And I mean, sure, he's not as strong as a lot of these characters, and he didn't even, put a dent on one of the monsters. But at the end of the day, he looks dope. He has a good moral code, and at the end of the day, the only real reason why um, he's still standing and fighting is because of the king and just how loyal this man is. So to think that he would even, consider joining Isengone, or that Isengone wouldn't understand that he never had a chance of recruiting him, I thought that was pretty telling of just where the story is kind of going with those two. And this has been teased since the very first time we saw the season 3 opening song. So to think that it might end before it actually begins would be a shame. But at the same time, it's a pretty hype battle to be talking up, even though we just saw that one of these baby goats that Lord Ainz has summoned pretty much couldn't be taken out, by him, even in the slightest, and Isengone with a snap of his fingers literally stopping every single one of them in their tracks. I don't really know how much of a chance he's got against him, but when you request a duel, um, it might, change some things. It might put into perspective just, what this guy is willing to do. So, I mean, if he, by doing this duel, he's holding Isengard here longer and pretty much doing exactly what everybody was telling the king that, your strongest warrior is going to hold all of these people at bay, regardless, and if Eisengon is the type of person I think he might become after, seeing a human doing human things, maybe he'll have a little bit of a human emotion, or he's going to keep going towards this direction of having no emotion at all when it comes down to humanity, or just the way humans would feel emotions in general. We might be really seeing this push of him going straight down the most negative road of evil. He pretty much specified that he didn't care about any of these lives about to be taken, and the only thing he cared about was making his people stronger and look better. So he's really telling us what and how he is feeling about every situation right now, and that the situations that he's in will be handled any way, shape, or form that he sees fit. And if that is the case, we are probably going to see the death of a whole entire capital if they don't fall in line or comply. And I also kind of want to see just where Isengard would go, or is going with all of this, seeing how he saw just how scared the people are who's working with him. And that seemingly is his plan, to steal fear and despair into all that, see his power. But the other thing about it is we already know that the prince wants to work against Isengard. It's just Isengard who doesn't necessarily have that information at this time. And just by the reaction of the guy who is, the prince's one of the right hand men, seeing this massacre, I don't think he can give a very on point, precise, accurate, war thing when seeing such a massacre at this point. I mean, and the prince is probably already the prince already expects greatness from Isengard when commenting on the elf girl who showed up to his place and killed over like 100,000 or something, or just thousands of people, with the wave of one attack and cracking the earth pretty much. And he automatically put Isengard even on a higher pedestal than that. He's just saying that if someone like that could destroy as many people as she did destroy, imagine what her leader could do. Why does she follow a person that could be weaker than her? Which that just doesn't seem possible. So that's kind of where he's getting at, and he's not wrong. So he's already taking some good precautions in the sense of, the warrior guy, he straight up knew what Isengard could do when he took out a whole army already, people with very high magic. But he told everybody that, and they just kind of laughed it off, like, oh, he took out a big capital of people, and they had well, actually, he wasn't there for the full rest of the fight. He didn't even see Isengard fight. He just knew how many people there were, how strong they were, and that regardless of all that strength and all that they had, Isengard still took them out. So we're really looking at the end game of this series. I feel like even the end credit song has like Isengard's hand like shattering into pieces and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see the end of Isengard in the sense of like he either fulfills everything he wants to do, or maybe he finds a way out of this game and that character perishes or something. I can't really see why they would give us any indication of Isengard like being destroyed or evaporating. So I really want to know their meaning behind some of the things. I mean, and some things are just for, aesthetics. Aesthetics! They just want it to look all cool and stuff like that, and you can't make it look cool if your main character ain't dying, so I'm just interested in that. Overall, this episode was absolutely amazing, though. Straight into the war, straight into just showing Eisengohn's every single way of making people absolutely terrified of him, which was awesome, as well as terrifying as well, to just know that this person is human somewhere in there, but he just doesn't care anymore. And to know that that might take effect to any of the players that might be undead, seeing how all the people that know Eisengohn, or that is supposed to be a player and worked with him, you can only be undead to work with him. So if there were players in the games, wouldn't they be going through the same types of things as losing their emotions and actually not caring about humanity and stuff like that? So it might be a lot harder to find these player characters if they are there. Eisengohn even did something interesting, as of letting off one of the spell that kills 70,000 people right off the bat without even trying. He let the spell sit for a while before using the little thing in his hand that activates it. It takes down your casting time by a crap ton. Like, it pretty much makes it so you can instant cast. And by Eisengohn pulling up that spell, anybody that knows Eisengohn should have known that if they were a player, and knew that that was something that they needed to fall away from and not attack. So that was his way of automatically knowing if there was someone who was a player or not, by them not reacting. It cleared today to him that there just might not be any players anymore, and that's why he's excited to let off that spell, because if there's no players and there's no people for him to, save like he's been working towards this whole time, then he literally can just cut loose and take out every single person thing in this world, because none of it really matters to him if it isn't, his people, or if it isn't something that's benefiting him at this point. So really interested to see how people are feeling about Overlord. I mean, we are seeing a massive change in Eisengohn's demeanor and just how he's going about taking over things. So I really am curious who's been watching from the start, and who's noticed all these changes like I did. And if you did notice these changes, do you like them? Or do you think this could be a good reason for this show to take a dramatic turn and maybe even, change our character of Eisengohn? So let me know in the comments down below, or just get at me later whenever you come up with your ideas. Thank you guys for watching so much. I will be dropping more content as soon as possible, so make sure you're subscribed and have that bell ring-a-ding-ding-dong, because you will get notified instantly on my next video. So with that, everybody, take care.